On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, they want you to think this episode is all masterpiece theater.
But it's really just booze, porn, and head shops. Let's do this.
Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
I'm Liz.
And this week we're going to talk about Season 9, Episode 18, Metafiction. But first, what have you been up to, Liz?
I don't know. Not a whole lot. I don't know. I'm just haven't felt like doing much. And there hasn't been a lot going on. But I caught the new Martha documentary. Or I guess, is that a documentary? Yeah. Film show on Netflix. Martha, you're an icon. I highly recommend it. It's very good. And yeah, so I mean, new season of What We Do in the Shadows is out. So That's been fucking amazing. Agatha has been really good, although I've kind of been saving a couple episodes so I can binge because they're once a week and I hate that.
Yeah.
Last night I set myself on fire on purpose. That was very successful. I did all
successfully. That's the key.
I did all of my fire tricks. I learned, so like the transfer from a lit wick to an unlit wick with my hands. So just lighting fire, just moving fire around with my hands, and I made my jellyfishes and all sorts of things.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. There finally wasn't any wind. And I was like, this is so much easier when there's no wind. I'm like, watch me do all this stuff.
Like, I got this.
But then they whipped out the fans. Like, do you want to use the fans? I'm like, no. So if you don't know, there are fire fans. They're basically like they're metal fans with 5 different wicks on each fan. Yeah. And then people dance around with them. And I have ADHD and I don't think I should have that much fire in my hands. It's just, I don't think that's how I lose my hair. It is, but flushing is, it sounds really dirty, but basically that's, kind of, lighting yourself on fire. That's what it is. You're, dragging lines of the fuel and stuff across you and then lighting that. And then, so I was doing that on my arm over like a Kevlar sleeve and then using that to like light other things and stuff. So
neat.
I think so.
That's cool.
Yeah. What about you?
I've seen some music because I know that's the ongoing. No, I got to see Jesus Lizard last week, and then
Sans Mary Jane.
And then went and saw Prayers and Kat Von D this week, which was super entertaining. And then also I saw Beetlejuice, the Broadway production, again at the Bass Hall in Fort Worth. It was really entertaining. So yeah, I've seen it twice, but with different people in different venue. It's just the way it worked out.
Same production.
Fun. Yes.
Same production, but different venue.
I mean, yeah, it's the touring show still.
Same cast.
I believe it was at least some of the same cast from what I could see and tell and what I remember. But yeah, and then I would say I'm watching What We Do in Shadows too, but I found a show I really like called High Potential.
Oh, High Potential is really good.
It's based
off of a French show. Oh, okay. And I can't do the French show. Like they have it, I forget the name of it, but they have, you can watch that one too, that it's based off of, but I don't really like the French.
Well, either way, I love really her.
Cute.
So.
Yeah. No, that's a cute procedural.
It is. Well, like the first episode, I'm like, it's going to be cheesy, but I like her so much. I don't care. I'm just blanking on her name. I know her name. D on It's Always Sunny. But D from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. She's married to Rob McElhenney. That girl. Anyways, that's terrible of me. I really like her though. She's been in other shows I think were really entertaining. And it's always good to have like a procedural, like I don't
That's
know.
not Law and Order SVU.
Yeah, it's a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
A little bit.
SVU, you're still going.
Oh, it is still going.
You're still there for me,
So
even
heavy.
though I'm just yelling at it all the time. That's not how things work.
Oh, man.
Oh, Olivia, and your badass glasses that I can't find. I don't know how many times I've Google image searched her fucking glasses to try and find those frames.
Really?
I want them. Hers and Rowena, what is your name? Ruth Connell.
Yeah.
Ruth Connell's current frames that she wore during our last thing were fucking amazing. So good.
Did you see she posted in the last week, there's a billboard in LA about saving the Dead Boys detectives.
Aww.
I was like, that was really cool. So anyway, she posted
Save
on
Dead
her
Boy
Instagram.
Detectives.
But yeah. Oh man.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk about metafiction. If you don't know what metafiction is, go read a book. But so metafiction, and this is according to the Supernatural Wiki, is in a TV show or book or other text occurs when the show or a character demonstrates that they are aware of their own fictional nature. And this was season 9, episode 18. It first aired April 5th, 2014, and was directed by Thomas J. Wright, who we last saw this season doing episode 9, Holy Terror, and written by Robbie Thompson, who we last saw doing, he did Firstborn and Slumber Party. But he also has been friends with Richard Speight Jr. for over 20 years. Huh. And I just think that's an interesting fact about them.
It is. Fun.
Awesome. If we ever release video of this one, my bandana is doing the weird pointy antenna thing on top of my head again. So I want you to look at that the entire episode and
cool.
not die.
Thanks. I'm just gonna stare at it.
Yep. All right. So our recap. We start off with Dean's road to cirrhosis.
Yeah, and him being very focused, quote unquote, focused for Dean, I guess. I don't know, about his search for Abaddon, his Mark of Cain. We've got a hint that we're going to have some Metatron and Gadriel in this episode. And we've got a reference to Castiel and the Angel factions returning.
Yeah.
So we open in a room, someone's study, if you will, with books. We've got a record playing. We've got a fireplace.
And very masterpiece theater.
Very. And among these books is Carver Edlund's Supernatural books. And we hear a typewriter noise. And it's Metatron.
And he immediately starts monologuing.
Yes. And he's appears to be breaking the fourth wall while he's monologuing. Meta.
Yeah, because he's Metatron.
And he's talking about stories and their plots and characters and text and subtext and who gives it meaning, the writer or the reader. But he's going to tell a story. But our intro that pops up then, though, is kind of funny. I thought, if you notice, it's Supernatural, pops up on the screen like it normally does, and then it changes to Metatron.
Yes, I thought that was cute. And then finally we get the shower scene. And Jensen is in the shower. But it's really, really short.
It is a very short scene.
It is.
He's in the shower, and then he's looking at himself in the mirror.
Admiring his sick brand.
Yeah, and staring at the mark. Sam is on the phone with Carlos, who's researching demon activity, and Dean comes in and basically he's got a dozen Sam's hearing from Carlos that and is telling Dean there's dozens of cases and people without souls acting out, but no sign of Abaddon. And Dean just looks kind of like out of it.
Yep, and Sam asked Dean the question. He is probably. This hangover never ends. He doesn't stop being drunk.
Yeah.
So, and then Sam asked the question that Dean will never ever truthfully respond to, which is, "Are you okay?"
Fine. Ugh. All right. So we cut to an industrial site.
We have an abandoned
We
warehouse.
haven't been to one in a minute, so it's fine. Castiel's there, and he goes through this doorway that has the bloody handprints on it, which is so totally the door you always want to go through.
Fair, but could you not?
I mean, I don't know. Either way, there's a pile of bodies.
I mean, I think I would have to.
That's good. But there's a pile of bodies in this room, and a weird V-type symbol on the wall that's kind of like humming and flashing.
It's kind of like a neon sign, but it's a sigil. It's
got a buzz, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then it just stops, and it just looks like it's written in blood.
And it gets go back to regular sigil.
Yeah. And he takes a picture of it.
With his tiny phone.
Yes, with his little tiny phone. And some chick whose eye's been like busted out. I don't know. It's a real bad. She looks like her face hurts.
It does. It's very uncomfortable to watch.
It is. She tries to stab him, and he gets her to stop and just wants to know who hurt her. And basically, apparently what happened is whatever this symbol is, or something happened, it was calling angels. It was calling angels to the space, and they get there, and it's the work of the new god who made an offer for them to join and fight for Metatron, and those that do can return to heaven. So some angels joined up. So this is basically all these dead bodies are angel bodies, angel meat suits, I guess.
Dead vessels.
Yeah, and then some joined, and some refused, and the ones that refused to join were killed. That's real weird and dark.
Yeah, and then Cass is like, I can't look at this eye anymore either, and so he boops her.
He boops her and it heals. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you for all of us, Cass. It was very uncomfortable. And then she knows who he is, and she is like, look, you need to be our new leader to not fuck with this crazy bullshit, please. And he's like, no, I'm not going to be your leader, but I'll make Metatron pay. Don't worry. And she's like, no, I want you to be our leader for real, but he's not having it. So Castiel calls Sam, and he's like, look, there's a strange angel here, but we know now, I'm sure it's Gadriel. We know that he's working for Metatron. And he has obviously he was the one that ordered Gadriel to kill Kevin.
Yep, and Sam wants to beat up Gadriel and find out more.
Yeah. And so Cass is like, here's a picture of this sigil, by the way. What the fuck is it? And he said he's some kind of like an angel siren that draws in angels. I think it's a spell, though. And it takes some real weird ingredients. Like griffin feathers and bones of a fairy.
It's a very, very violent spell.
Yeah. But yeah, so Castiel is also in his motel room at this point and wants to know what is honorable about a miniature bar in a hotel room. It says honor bar on it. Does anybody have those anymore? I've never seen
maybe
honor
at this
bar. I see
place.
mini bar.
Yeah, no. So a lot of boutique hotels do. So like the hotel I stayed in San Diego, the Pirate one, that one had an honor bar.
Huh.
They also there was like a regular they'd be like, these are the drinks that you can have, and then if you want these drinks, we're going to charge them to your room.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that. I just haven't seen like anything say honor bar in a long time.
But no, this is a very old fashioned thing where you're supposed to go to the front of and tell them when you check out what you bought.
Yeah.
Because you're honorable.
Not that it auto charges to your card when you leave anyways.
But yeah, or just like by the weight moving it, like, no, this is an old fashioned kind. But Dean says that everything, like it's kind of like, he lights up at the word bar, and then Cass is like smiling at the sound of Dean's voice. Oh man, I meant to like have a sound here of like angel wings or like that we could like just sounds for Dustiel. Yeah, a little harp noise right here.
Well, Cass doesn't have his wings right now. He misses them because apparently life on the road smells.
It does. He's not wrong.
Yeah,
especially if you're a man.
Yeah, and somehow Sam is like ahead of his time for when this episode aired and is able to do like a reverse image search on the symbol.
You could always reverse image search.
Like that? I've never seen it before until recently. I don't know. Either way, he's pretty advanced on his technological searches and finds it in a police record of a multiple homicide crime scene that just happened over several
that is bullshit. Like that would not be there. But he can't backdoor into all the cops things and search through them. He could maybe though search through a bunch of newspapers and find out that there were a bunch of crimes where this happened in Utah.
Yeah. So a bunch of all industrial sites in Utah and moving north. Uh-oh. So they agree that they're going to divide and conquer. Cass is going to go to what could be the next site, and then Sam and Dean are going to the other possible next site, and they'll meet in the middle. And then we see that Castiel has a pretty decent murder wall in his motel room.
He does. His murder board is pretty good.
Yeah, he's done pretty well. And we get a light flicker, though, so you worry about what's coming next. And then we cut back to Dean in the bunker, and he's like, wait, we had a case in Ogden about a witch, and this kid helped us. That's cool, because they want to find the guy that helped them before.
And so apparently that is in a head shop, because that is where Gadriel pulls up. And I never thought about the stoners in Utah, but I guess there's like a lot of mountains and things there. So there has to be like some stoners. It can't all be Mormons.
No. There's a lot of hiking and mountainy stuff, so that does track.
Yeah.
So this guy pulls in, it's Gadriel pulls in, and we've got our guy that works at the head shop. He's trying to buy, Gadriel's trying to buy griffin feathers, and the clerk's like, oh, this isn't Diagon Alley. But Gadriel's like, I saw your hunter signs on the door, so I think you do have those things. And so the clerk goes to get those, and also the fairy bones. Doesn't matter what realm. And the clerk laughs and asks what he's hunting.
Yeah, and I really think that, he should be checking out the Silk Road here. I mean, the dark web was bumping in 2014. You could have bought anything. And I really think they should have made a whole dark web for all of this shit. And then they wouldn't have to go to all these hunters' head shops, which do you notice that most of the hunter shops are like head shops, or they're some sort of like new agey thing, but it looks like you all like front for selling weed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So back at the motel, Castiel's about to leave the room. His lights flicker again, and then all of a sudden, Casa Erotica pops up on the television.
That's always a good sign when Casa Erotica shows up.
We haven't seen that in a while. And the TV won't turn off, won't change channels. The film starts, and we've got a blonde chick, and she goes to answer the door, and it's Gabriel, aka the trickster. And he's there, and he needs Castiel's help. He pops into the room because he's not dead. He faked his death.
So apparently he faked his own death, but then he gets really cagey about where he was hiding. And then he's like, no, I was hiding in heaven until the angels fell.
Sure. And then he's mad at Cass and Dean and Sam for ruining Christmas, and that Metatron had sent his minions down to look for Gabriel because they knew that he had extra juice because he's an archangel. I can't say it. Archangel. Good Lord.
Yeah, and he also got hurt in the fall, and he used most of his juice to get back into porn. Double entendre intended.
Yeah. So what he says is happening is that Metatron is blowing the horn of Gabriel. And so he had to come out of hiding because there's safety in numbers. And that Metatron is using the horn to trap angels, not unite them. So, and Castiel is like, yeah, that's fucking Gadriel. So not Meta doing it himself. And Gabriel's like, hey, well, that's fine. I need your help. We're going to get the band back together and do the Kill Metatron tour. I appreciate it. It's pretty funny. So, Sam and Dean arrive at their friend's head shop. And it's night. The lights are off. Doors unlocked. And they go in, they're poking around, and there's a box of feathers spilled all over the floor, which seems like a bitch to clean up.
Yeah. They're just going to be so hard. They're going to keep floating around. And then you're like, oh, man, it sounds so awful.
It does. But Sam opens a door and our clerk is very, very dead with his eyes burned out and
he's hanging on a door hook. I'm like, was
That's
this
just
necessary, Gadriel? Like, what? Are you just a serial killer now? Like, what? And you got your fucking feathers. Why did you have to kill this guy?
Well, and they make it seem like he doesn't really want to kill people, but then he's sure as shit seemed to like do some extra damage there. Like, why would you do that?
And then to hang him on the door, like, what? Why? Ugh.
Yeah, I didn't like it. So Cass is calling Dean and is trying to leave him a voicemail, but Gabriel grabs the phone. And he's like, I'm the one who died for your sins. Not the cat with beard and sandals, the hot one. And so apparently Gabriel and Castiel plan to drive to the bunker. What the fuck is this communication breakdown happening? Because Castiel should just stay where they're at because they've got a plan and they're both supposed to meet up in Utah. Very confusing.
It is. And so Cass wants to know what Gabriel has seen. And it really doesn't sound like Gabriel's been hiding out because he knows a lot about what's been going on.
Yeah, he's been watching the Angels fight, then Crowley, and then Abadoosh, as he calls her. But he's like, yeah, most angels aren't like us, though. They can't handle the free will. They're sheep and drones, and we're different. We're rebels.
And we're never going to be any good. And Cass just tries to play this all down. He was just like, I'm just a soldier. Mm-hmm. And Gabriel does point out that he has been God more often than God.
That's true. He says, bitch, please. I'm just being funny here. So he's like, look, I know you don't, I don't want to run anymore. Gabriel, like, I don't want to run anymore. I want to lead. And Castiel is like, that's cool. Great. You can lead. I'll follow you. So they go to a gas station and Gabriel's very excited about the junk food selection.
The delicious cancer snacks.
Yeah. Very upsetting. Anyways, and a truck pulls up with a bunch of a bunch of folks in the bed of the truck, which there's nowhere you can do that anymore. So
yeah, it's like, did a truck full of angels just pull up behind them?
Yes,
and then tense music plays. What is happening?
It's very bizarre. How this kind of starts is not very I'm kind of confused as a viewer. Just so you know, as the scene came open, I'm like, wait, what? What is that? What's happening? But they seem to know that these are bad angels coming for them, I guess. But either way, Gabriel's like, those are his minions. So they lock the door to the gas station. Yeah. I'm sure the clerk, that whoever works at this gas station, loves
was fine with that. But they didn't seem to be one in there, right? So they just seem to be all by themselves. Yeah. So we cut from that and tense music is playing and we cut to Gadriel and Sam.
Yeah. So we have a little back and forth where they're both kind of trying to hide and evade each other a little bit, all secretly. But Sam picks up the phone and is leaving a voicemail for Castiel right when Gadriel tries to sneak up on him, but it was a trap because Dean drops his lighter and Gadriel's trapped in a circle of our artisanal holy oil.
He is. He's trapped. And Sam is pissed.
Big mad. Whew. And so, but also if you think about it, I don't blame him. What? Oh, you made me murder my friend and you took over my body and you totally lied to my brother to let me do that? It's pretty fucked.
Yeah, no, you should be mad.
And then you left some grace in me. Ew. Violated. Anyways, so Castiel and Gabriel are we need a plan. And Gabriel's I'm gonna fight. He's going to send, Castiel off, but that's okay. He's going to, use his extra archangel juice to fight these angels so Castiel can go be the leader that the angels need. And Cass is like, no, this is terrible. It's a terrible plan. What if I fail again? He's like, Gabriel's like, you won't, you can't. And they hug and there's a moment. But then Castiel looks inside his coat. And there had been a rip in his pocket that morning. And there is not a rip now.
What in the mind fuck is happening?
So he has figured it out already before we, the viewer, did, or at least Diana, the viewer, did. And asks Gabriel if any of it is real. And as that's happening, the minions get inside, and Gabriel's still like, "You've got to go, Cass." And Castiel's like, "You're already dead." And he pushes his angel blade into Gabriel. But he just goes through him because he's not really there. Oh no, it was all a lie. Sad. So he snaps and the minions disappear. And the rip in the coat was the giveaway.
And Gabriel hates continuity errors.
I don't blame him. They annoy me too.
Yeah.
Fun fact, do you know why on Love is Blind they use those golden goblets? Have you ever seen that? Like on that, it's garbage TV. Anyways, they use these wine glasses that are like brushed gold metal, which is not great.
Cancer goblets.
Yeah. But they look cool. But the part of the reason they use them is for continuity. So you can't tell how much of their drink or what their drink is going. Pretty smart. Good job, producers. Anyways. That's your fun fact there. So we know now that none of this scenario between Castiel and Gabriel was real. But Gabriel's like, but it's all true. You just got to hear Metatron out. And Castiel just wants to know if Gabriel's really dead. And he wiggles his eyebrows, snaps, and Castiel finds himself gagged and tied to a chair in the study where we introed the episode.
And Metatron is just there, and he looks so smug. So smug.
And he wants to know, what do you think makes the story work? So Castiel's tied up in Metatron's office, while Sam and Dean have Gadriel tied up in the Gadriel. I can't say Gadriel. Gadriel? Gadriel. I was thinking Gadriel. I say Gadriel. I know it's not quite right. My apologies. Gadriel chained up in the industrial building. It's kind of an interesting parallel. Just saying.
Yes. And he is also looking smug. And then he says that Sam Winchester's insides reek of shame and weakness.
Rude.
Rude, but so funny.
So Sam hits him in the fucking face. And is about to just totally wail on him, but Dean stops him. And back in Metatron's study, he's gonna tell Cass a story. Or that was the plan. But he's like, the story failed. And that and he's trying to, like, he makes, like a Sherlock Holmes reference, and then Castiel is real annoyed, or he's really annoyed that Castiel doesn't get the reference. So he does something that's like, I don't know.
Yeah, so he's really pissed. Weird. He's pissed because Cass, at this point, Cass has been around for thousands of years and hasn't picked up a fucking book so he can get any pop culture references. And what he says he's going to do is going to be a bit of a retcon. And that stands for retroactive continuity, which is reframing or adding to past events to serve a current plot need. And this is something that comes from comic books, but it's been taken over as a trope within TV and film, etc. An example in Supernatural would be the revelation of the trickster as Gabriel in season 5. That would be a retcon.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
I didn't know that term either.
Yep. And so he boops every book, TV, movie show he's ever consumed into his head. And that sounds like an amazing way to binge things, but also a sad way.
Yeah,
you lose the joy of like watching things and seeing it. But I would like to have that Wikipedia in my head.
Yeah, I know. I was very torn about, like, that sounds amazing. And I'm like, oh, it sucks. But also so cool.
That is cool. But, so now we have something that was a key part of Castiel's character that you never got your references. So, but now Cass has all the references. And Booker says, he's like, so now he tries to explain again how the universe is made up of stories, not atoms. Right. And Cass gets, that's a quote from Mira Rukeyser. And that's from the poem Speed of Darkness, which is a really good poem. Highly recommend everyone go read it and read up on her too. But
well, yeah. So we've got basically Metatron's like, first off, here's the rules of being a good writer is steal from the best, and every hero needs a villain. So he intentionally set up for Castiel to find Hannah, that's our angel with the fucked up eye earlier. And he had specifically told Gadriel to let someone live, specifically to tell the tale to Cass. And Castiel's like, but you know, are you actually letting people back into heaven? And Metatron won't tell him. But he says the point is that Castiel has to lead angels. That's the point. So what we've figured out is that Metatron is so egotistical and in his own head that he has decided that he is the hero and Castiel has to be his villain then. So Metatron has to save the angels and save heaven, but he has to have somebody lead the factions of the angels. They have to be unified and have one leader, which is Castiel.
Yep.
He has selected his villain.
Yep, because he's a narcissist.
Yes. Yes, he is. But Cass is just not really interested in being a leader still. Either way, Metatron's been reading these supernatural series, aka the Winchester Gospels, and then he burns them. But he, he's,
Castiel and he figured out through the Gospels that the best way to teach lessons is through the trickster / Gabriel.
Yeah, but he's also confused Castiel because Castiel still thinks that Cass is going to be the hero, and Metatron has to set him straight that no, Metatron's the hero, you're the villain.
Yep, but that's all from your perspective, right, Cass?
Sure.
So we go from that and back to our abandoned warehouse.
Yeah, and they want to be able to hack Gadriel, but they can't get a hold of Cass, and they're trying to find his location via phone because he should be there. So Sam is going to go look for Castiel because he's just too emotionally involved in the Gadriel thing, which seems unfair because of course he is.
Yeah, no, but you should get to beat the shit out of him. All right. Yes. So, but he leaves Dean the Angel Blade.
Yeah, and Gadriel's like, oh, so he's gonna be tough, and you're gonna be. So he's like, Gadriel's like, oh, he was the bad cop, you're gonna be the good cop. Dean's like, no,
bad cop,
bad cop, and he's like, yeah, I don't care if you die or talk. I'm just gonna make sure you pay for what you did to Sam and to Kevin.
Yikes, that's not good.
No, I don't think I would want that, like, to be on that side of Dean Winchester.
No, not crazy. Mark of Cain, Dean Winchester.
Probably not. Back in Metatron's study, he's still talking to Cass. He likes him. That's why I didn't kill you after I stole your grace. You land with a spark. And, I wanted you to live a happily ever after as a human. But, now we're going to follow my script. You got to lead the angels.
But Cass points out that doesn't sound like what he just assessed. You just told me that I'm a rebel. So why would a rebel follow your script?
Yeah.
And Metatron just wants him to lead the dumb, disenfranchised, rebellious angels, which is the title of my next album.
Dumb, disenfranchised, rebellious angels.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. It is a good one. And in return, Metatron will give Castiel access to unlimited battery of angel power.
Which I think just means like he just keeps killing angels to suck their grace out, which is really bad. Very upsetting. It's not a good thing.
It's very weird. So Dean is now torturing Gadriel. It's weird. It's slicing him with the angel blade. It is uncomfortable. And he wants to know about if the talk about getting angels into heaven is true. He's in the meantime, Gadriel's just talking shit back. He's talking trash about how Sam wouldn't do anything for Dean. And Dean's like, guess what? I already fucking know this. We already had this talk. You missed it. We had a moment. It's fine.
So we say that Sam tells me that shit twice a season.
Yeah. And Gadriel's just still shit talking about how Dean's a sad, scared little boy. His daddy.
Dean, scared little boy with daddy issues. And we all know this, right? Dean is sad, clingy, and needy, and he just keeps pushing his buttons.
Yeah. And it kind of works, but it's kind of not, because Dean also already knows all this shit too. So he does hit him. And Dean realizes that Gadriel's not scared to die. He is scared to be left alone, tied up to forever.
Because he's been jailed for letting a nope rope into the Garden of Eden for a while.
Yeah. So Dean has now realized that this angel is not scared of death. It is scared of being kept alive and imprisoned.
Yeah. And it's a valid fear. He's been locked up for eons, literally.
So Sam has found the motel where it says that Castiel's phone is. And so, of course, he goes in. It's Cass's room. He sees the murder board and the phone on the bed, which is not ideal. But we get, I don't know.
Yeah, we start cutting back and forth between Sam and Dean. So yeah, we get Sam looking at the murder board. Then we get Dean giving himself affirmations and watching his face.
And leaving his cell phone in the bathroom.
Okay, yeah. And then Metatron pops out. And so now we've got Metatron, and he wants to trade Gadriel for Cass. You got me saying it now, God damn it. Okay.
Sorry. Gadriel. And Castiel. He wants a fair trade, and that's it. And because Metatron is an entity of his word. He might be, but that make him not a dick. And of course, in the middle of this, Sam's trying to call Dean. Dean's left his phone in the bathroom. Who does that in a crisis? You keep your phone on you. You're on a mission in a crisis. Oh, so annoying. Anyways. But Sam gets back to the industrial site where Dean was beating the shit out of Gadriel. And he finds that Gadriel's chair is empty. And Dean looks real fucked up sitting against the wall. And basically, Gadriel's there. He's laying down. He ain't dead, though. But he is very beat. But he didn't kill him because he wanted to die. He's just unconscious. Dean just really wanted him to talk. But Sam's like, by the way, we've got a deal. But they want to know where he is so they can trap him. So they have to try for the deal. I do feel like that makes a lot of sense, but also wouldn't have Metatron have thought of this?
Yeah. So, well, clearly he does, because they go to the motel and Metatron pops in and says that he was just waiting for them to finish setting up his trap.
Yeah, they do the holy oil, their artisanal holy oil ring, and Metatron pretends like it's bothering him and then just laughs and asks if they have fixins for s'mores. Because apparently the holy oil fire gives a delightful minty aftertaste, which in my opinion would just ruin s'mores.
That sounds gross. So then he's a dick. He blows out the circle. He slams them up against the car when they try and pull their blades out, or a blade out.
Yeah.
Because they just have one angel blade.
I don't know. And then he opens the trunk. Poofs away their sigils on trunk. How did he
violates trunk.
Yeah. And poofs away the sigils. And then he's got some
business women have Cass.
Yeah. And then
all the corporate executives from L'Oreal have escaped, and they've taken Cass hostage.
They're just like, get out of this black town car. Basically, it's not a town car, but basically a black sedan. And they've got Cass. Like, here you go. So weird. And it's so weird. And he's like, they're like, why? They ask Metatron. He's like, because I can, and you can't stop me, but I'm going to enjoy watching you try.
And he blips away. Yeah.
But the trade has been made. And this is daylight, kind of like evening when this happens. But suddenly now, our next scene, it's very, very dark at night at the same motel. Weird. And Castiel's like, Metatron's playing God. Sam's like, well, he basically is God. And Dean's making references to a Stairway to Heaven or sneaking onto the Death Star to take out the Emperor. And weirdly, Castiel understands the references. Doesn't get the metaphors, but gets the references. Because he has all that info now. So Dean and Cass keep asking each other, are you all right? Are you okay? And he finally notices the mark on Dean's arm.
Uh-oh, what have you done? Damn it, Dean!
Damn it, Dean. And Dean's just like, we just got to find Heaven. I've got a night to kill. Because so Castiel is on the Heaven mission, and Dean is staying on the Abaddon mission. Right? I mean, yeah. All right. So Gadriel and Metatron are talking, and basically the way he's saying that, the way things are going is because of what Gadriel's done, but now Metatron has to do a rewrite. God made a mistake because God published his first draft, but and Metatron's not going to make that mistake. Gadriel's like, well, if was the Winchesters getting me, was that part of the plan? And he's like, it was a surprise twist. He's like, my job is just to set up interesting characters and see where they lead. But you're writing it, sir.
Yes, but he was still surprised because he's not controlling everything. He's just writing out the story. So some things he's not controlling, and he was surprised.
But Metatron does know the ending, so he says.
That's what he says. He says he knows the ending, and he doesn't care how they get there as long as everybody plays their part.
Yes.
He also misspells his own name as he types, so...
That's hilarious. Well, then he puts on the record, a Frankie Valli record, The Sun Ain't Gonna Shine is playing. And we see Sam and Dean are driving, Castiel's in his motel pulling down his murder board, Metatron's still typing, and we see the sun rise, and Castiel draws the symbol, the sigil, to call the angels on his wall of his motel room, which is not as removable as a board, so he's probably going to lose his deposit. But and he calls the angels, and he opens a door, and Hannah and a bunch of other angels are waiting outside. His flock is there. Ugh.
Yeah, and Metatron types, God watched over them, smiling at his good works, to be continued, as he pulls the paper off the typewriter. And that was a meta episode, which means it's time for a meta quiz. So this is a meta quiz, and I'm going to quiz Diana about the things that were in this episode.
Damn it, I knew
Should have
it.
been paying attention. All right.
Pressure's on.
Pressure's on. All right. In our first scene, Metatron is typing, and we pan over some of the Carver Edlund books, including A Supernatural Christmas.
Yes.
What was on the cover? Was it A, the Impala covered in Christmas lights? B, Sam and Dean in sexy Santa outfits? C, an angry Santa? Or D, a clearly wasted John Winchester being very inappropriate with a reindeer?
C, angry Santa.
You are correct. It was an angry Santa. Although D, someone make that happen. All right. Number 2. What other authors can be seen on his desk? A, I'm going to give you multiple choice for this one. Kurt Vonnegut. B, S.E. Hinton. C, Malcolm Gladwell. D, Margaret Atwood.
Let me go with B.
It was B, but also A. Both Kurt Vonnegut and S.E. Hinton were on that. And S.E. Hinton being a fan of the show and has been on an episode and hangs out on the set. So, of course, she was on there. All right, number 3. The 3-week break between this episode and the last one was dubbed by the fans on Twitter because of the images of Dean in the shower. What was the hashtag that the fans made for the hiatus? I sent it to you in an email.
It was like and you did. It was like hiatus or something like that. It was it was a good play on words with the hiatus.
You're close. You need half of it. It was shower hiatus.
See, I knew that hiatus. I knew that part. Okay. Almost.
All right, question number 4. In the shower scene, can you see Jensen Ackles' nipples?
No.
No, you cannot. This one is just to see if you did your homework. How many episodes of Supernatural has the actress who played Hannah previously appeared in? Don't look at your notes.
Overall, she appears in 9 episodes.
How many episodes before this was she in?
I don't know. I don't know the split before and after. I didn't get that deep.
She was in 2 episodes. She played a nurse in season 1, episode 12, and she played a young mother in season 1, episode 18.
Okay.
Which number Casa Erotica was on the TV?
I want to say it was 13, but I don't think that's right.
You're close. It's 14. I had multiple choice for that, but all right. What is the name of the head shop of our unfortunate stoner?
Oh man,
I do
multiple choice. I saw it. I know.
Ian's Herbal Remedies, The Green Zone, Have a Heart, or Earthly Delights.
I think it was The Green Zone.
It was Ian's Herbal Remedies.
Oh.
Those other 3 are all actual dispensaries.
Sure, I have no doubt in my mind.
Not surprising that dispensaries are in my search engine, but okay. So, number 8, what is the name of the gas station they go to? That is the Gas and Sip. This is the 8th episode so far it's been in. That is also where Cass worked.
But it was the same. I knew I recognized the name, and I just couldn't think of it when you asked. I was like, shit.
Yeah. And sometimes I just like to torture you. What kind of car is Cass driving?
It's the gold card that he took from the person that it's Grace's, and it is the Lincoln. I know which car it is. Damn it. I don't remember. It's a 70s Lincoln.
It is a Lincoln. It's a 1978 Lincoln Continental Mark V.
See?
You're close. All right.
70s Lincoln. It's gold.
You're close. Pardon me. All right. What cartoon animal is on the ice machine at the motel?
Penguin?
It is. They showed it multiple times.
Yes.
What room number did Cass stay in?
7?
Yeah. What was the name of the motel?
I don't remember.
Maggie's Cedar Lodge.
Oh, yeah. Cedar Lodge. Yeah. Okay.
And how much for a mini shot in the Honor Bar?
I don't remember that.
That was $3. I like the fact that it called it, it was fucking cheap. A beer was like $2. I would be getting shithoused off of that.
Yeah.
You can charge me whatever the fuck you want. Fuck yeah.
Right.
And I'm assuming a mini shot is like an airplane bottle.
That's what I assume too, yeah.
So that was our quiz. You did well.
All right. I did pretty good, right?
You did pretty good.
Dang. All right. I'm going to tell you some cast here.
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
Yes.
I know we kind of talked about one, but we weren't really doing.
We weren't really talking about her. I didn't give her name.
And we didn't really do much cast talk at the time those earlier episodes came out. I knew that it was someone we hadn't really talked about. So Hannah was played by Erica Carroll. So she's been in other shows on episodes of Battlestar Galactica, 4400, Smallville, V, Fringe, Almost Human, and more. Our buxom lass, which is what they call it in IMDb, was played by Lindsay Maxwell. This is a chick in Casa Erotica. She's on she's on 3 episodes of Supernatural total across the series. Done a lot of Hallmark stuff, which is kind of funny. She was Grace in Butterfly Effect 2 and was in McTitty was her character name in Good Luck Chuck. There you go. Our head shop guy was played by Benjamin Rogers. He's actually in 2 episodes of Supernatural. He's also been in episodes of Almost Human, Witches of East End, Travelers, Deadly Class, The Last of Us, and Tracker, excuse me, which is a good crossover to current stuff with Jensen. And then we've got Ingrid, was played by Danielle Kremenik, which is that was the chick that busted into Metatron's office. She's in 3 episodes of Supernatural across the series as well. She's been in episodes of Smallville, L-Word. She was a reoccurring character, Almost Human, Arrow, Lucifer, and Travelers. And the other minion, the other female thing that was dragging Castiel around, was played by Priya Rajaratnam. And she's been in episodes of Suits and 12 Monkeys, the series. She was a young astronaut in Tomorrowland and a Night Watch captain in Star Trek Beyond the movie. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, what did you think?
I love a good concept episode, but it's hard when you hate Metatron so much.
He's very, very unlikable.
But I don't know. I think it's, I think even him, like his, hate for him is annoying because he's a wonderful villain to hate. I think, I don't know if Gadriel makes me madder. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. Something about the episode, it was fun but it was so heavy. So it made it a weird balance.
Yeah, no, I think it's a balanced episode. I think it's well written and well directed and well acted, but also Metatron just makes me want to hit him. I want to hit him a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple little things I think that were just like eye rolly, but I love an excuse to bring Gabrielle back. So that's always exciting.
So now his name is Gabrielle. Like, what was going on?
Gabriel. I know, I'm all over the place. I had so much trouble with the Gadriel versus Gabriel in my notes. Gadriel, I couldn't do it. That's why I can't say it today. Gadriel and Gabriel.
That is true, because they were both in the episode, and that
made it hard.
It makes you want to morph them.
Yes, that's why.
Which you did.
I did. I did. It was terrible.
You made a new mashup, which we didn't know existed. So
you're welcome.
You're welcome. I'm sure there's probably that fan fiction somewhere. Y'all fucking pervs. I know you.
Right. I'm like,
y'all are pervy. Y'all write everything.
Yeah.
Wherever there's a hole in a peen.
Make it happen.
Oh man. Okay, I think that's a note we're gonna end on.
Is that what we're going with? Cool.
Cool story. Cheers, Dirk.
Oh, cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios podcast network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Going up to the spirit in the sky. That's where I'm gonna go.